Alright guys, so I'm not going to bore you with how I go about marking my steel and then cutting it out with an angle grinder. It is the simplest thing in the world. You put your template on your steel, draw it out with a Sharpie marker, and cut off all the big excess. Cut the bar stock as much as you can, trim it up a little bit, and then go to the grinder. So that's all I'm going to do, and then I'll show you all that kind of stuff, and then we'll just go on from there. Alright guys, this is my Grizzly. Make sure you have all your hearing protection on, all that good stuff. Most of you guys know I do have two grinders. Alright, I have my Grizzly and I have my KMG. This is the Grizzly G1015. It has a very long platen and a shelf on it. It was one of my first ones that I bought, and no, it is not for sale. I don't know why somebody's always trying to buy my grinders. You can go on Craigslist if you want to buy it, or you can buy it straight from grizzly.com. They're only about 575 bucks. Alright, so what I have here is a 36 grit belt. I have everything set up. I got my lighting, and what I'm going to do is just clean all this up, start beveling this, start beveling that. Alright, you might want to lower the volume. This is going to get pretty loud. I'll put on all my protection. Start cutting the handle. Alright, so now at this point, as you can see, I cleared up, cut out the handle, rounded the edge, rounded the natural curve. I flattened the back here, but I left this stock. I didn't change any of the stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round this side now, so it makes that nice round handle, and I'm going to do it on the same grinder that I did. Alright guys, this is Jantz's hollow grind jig. It does come with an adjustment wheel, so you can see how it moves in and out. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it at the setting that's the farthest back that it'll go. Okay, I gotta fix the tracking here. Let's see where I'm at. I mean, this belt, it took me a very long time to adjust this piece, and that's why I don't really want to go into it right now, but you don't necessarily need a jig to do a hollow grind. I've done it without. You can actually go back in my videos and you see where I don't have a jig. I just have a plate, and I use that plate. The jig just makes it a lot faster for me. And when you do a hollow grind and you are going to send it pre-heat treat, leave enough on there. Don't go all the way down to a millimeter, because your blades will come back all warped and distorted, and you really don't want to do that. So I'm gonna click this sucker on and start grinding. You will need, if you are going to use this jig, there are 3 different types for 3 different machines, or 4 I should say. So if you do go to Jantz.com and you are going to get this jig, it's about 400 and change. You have to get the right one for your machine. There's 4 different types. Alright, KMG jig. Let's see where we're at with this. Tracking's good. Move this back a little bit. Alright guys, here you go. So you can see I left quite a bit of meat on there. It's a little bit over like well, maybe 187. Now it's like 3/16 on the bevel, and it's still a quarter on top. So now what I'm going to do is just basically put the holes in there, and then I'm going to clean it up and then stamp my name and send it off to heat treat. So let's go do that. Alright guys, so all I'm doing is using the back of my anvil. Alright, I have my template holes. Try to line it up as best as possible. Got my punch right in the center. There's one. That's two. Alright, so there you go. Got my holes in there. Now I'm going to drill them. I'm going to use 1/4 inch. Let's see. That's 1/4 inch right there. Yeah. Alright. Put the sucker in there. Tighten it down. Alright, so while this is drilling, you know, you guys saw me use, you know, the jig, and I just want to reiterate that it's not necessary to use a jig, but I find that there's many different jigs you can use and make. You don't have to go out and buy a $400 jig, especially if you don't have a lot of equipment. I would suggest buy the equipment first, like a good grinder. Multiple grinders are even better. You know, I still have my 1x30, and I still use that. I'm not going to give it away or sell it. It was the first grinder I used, and what happens is you wind up, if you can set up a station and constantly have a station to station to station and set it up the way you want it, it saves you time if you're doing multiple knives. So you grind one knife, you set up all the stations, and then you go from grinder to grinder to grinder. And that's ideally, if you're going to be a knife maker and you're going to do it this route, it's so much easier that way. I'm saving my money right now to buy another grinder. You know, some people think I'm crazy, but I'm like, listen, if I don't have to constantly change platen to wheel or anything else, and I can just put my grits on there, I'll line up 6 grinders with all different types of belts on there and just go through it. To me, that's really the way it should be, but that's very expensive. Alright, so also a lot of guys, as you can see now, you know, I don't use oil, and you don't really need to use oil. It is an annealed piece of steel. I find that it's not necessary. If you want to use it, you can. I buy these drill bits in about 12 pack. Oops. It's starting to get towards the end. There you go. Go all the way through. I'm doing that. Alright, so what I gotta do now is I gotta ream the holes. And normally I don't ream the holes, because if you're going to put pins or you're going to put screws through it, you're going to put a handle and you're going to sandwich it, you don't need to ream them. Unfortunately, because I'm putting paracord on here, you probably will see the hole, especially the back one. So that one needs to be nice and clean. Let's see if I can make this work right here. I like to just keep it off to the back. And again, as you can see, I'm using a lot of clamps and you know, I don't want to wind up with my fingers all slit up and everything. Alright. Very simple. Well, just let it do its job. Nice all the way through. Shut the machine off. Alright. So that's a 1/4 inch ream. You could see, I don't know if you could see that in there. I'll let it. Well, what it does is it takes all the screw marks out. That's basically what it does. The next bit I'm going to use is a chamfer bit. I think I got these cheap, but this is like a 2-bit system. I think you can buy these in 1 bit. This is something that was supposed to be made in some type of handheld device, but I made it for my drill press. It works pretty well. I always keep my drill press at a low speed anyway, so I'm really not too concerned. And what this does is not only does it dress up the holes a little bit, but if you were going to put a some type of holes in there, you know, for glue or whatever it is, it just, you know, opens up the hole a little bit more. I think it gives it a nice finished look. And this is slow. You're not going to be you're not trying to go through the whole thing, you're just trying to give it a little bit of face. So it just gives it a little bit of face on there. So now what I'm going to do is just shine this up. Alright, so as you can see, I'm going back to the Grizzly and knock down the shelf. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the factory, this is factory sledge or whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's all the extra carbon when they pour the steel gets caught up on the outside. That's why it looks gray. You could actually leave it like this, and I thought about leaving it like that, you know, just and get it heat treated just to see what it would look like. But I think because I'm getting it heat treated anyway, it's going to be blue and nasty anyway, and I have to clean it up anyway, so I might as well just do it. But very simple. I have, again, this is my 100-pound, what's it called? The magnet source. It's just a magnet. But this helps me a lot clean it up. Okay, so what I want to show you is, so I started cleaning up all the slag. I went from a 36 billet to a 60, and I'm not going to go any further than that because it's going to go to heat treat anyway, and it's going to look all blue and disgusting and all that stuff, so I'm not even worried about it. What I'm trying to do is just straighten out all the grinds as much as I possibly can. As you can see, this is a hollow grind. Now, I have a 36 grit hollow on that thing right now, but as you can see, it starts to get rusted because of the water. You know, every time it gets hot, I just dip it, and then now it's all rusted. And I don't want to send any rust to any rusted blades over to heat treat. I don't know if it affects the blade at all. I don't want to even think about it. So what I'm going to do is I put my Scotch-Brite on, and then you see the bottom wheel is an 8-inch wheel. That's what I'm going to use to clean up my hollow. Nice and shiny. Only took a couple passes, got enough heat on there. All I have to do is put a stamp and I send it off to heat treat. Now when I get back from heat treat, I just do the reverse. I got to do, you know, the grinder. I got to grind this out a little bit more, thin it out, clean it all up, paracord wrap it. I still have to re-ream all the holes because now it'll have all that gunk from the heat treat on it. But that's pretty much it, guys. You know, very simple knife, last ditch. Like I said, it's supposed to be made for you know, combat pilots anybody that needs a really small heavy-duty piece of steel very quickly, it's an 8-inch blade. It's an 8-inch overall with a 4-inch handle and a 4-inch blade, chisel grind. 1/4 inch. All right, you could see that right there. That's pretty thick. 1/4 inch 5160, which is really good steel, and I think it's gonna be pretty badass. So I'm gonna keep making these. I got a couple to make today. I'll probably finish today making them all, and then I gotta send them all off to heat treat. So it will take a bit of time. These will be on the website. So if you want to pre-order them, you can go up to the website now. It's threeriverblades.com. I put it all the way up at the top. You can see what it looks like when it's cord wrapped. I don't have sheets for them yet, obviously, but it'll be a black Kydex sheet. Or if you want ODE or something like that, I could do that. I think it'll be a really nice batch run, especially in between. If you want them for Christmas, they'll be available. So hopefully they'll be available for Christmas. Depends on when my heat treater gets them done. But last ditch knife. Hope you guys appreciate the vid. I hope you guys that are out there learning to make knives, I've taught you something. Stay safe out there. threeriverblades.com. Thank you. Out.